Well, I started a template in my Notion to help us evaluate, and I want to go over it with you in real time here. And we can evaluate content creation as a sense of relevance in our lives. And I've been evaluating the podcast and if this is really going to be, in a way, relevant in life anymore due to some bigger investments that this is going to require of life as our reality. This is going to require a lot of bigger investments here. So I want to go over this now with you as best we can here.
Cellular data. Switch button. On.
And
Bluetooth.
you're
WH.
going to
Wi-Fi.
hear
Eve. Switch button. Selected. Focus. Do not disturb. But
the you're going to hear
Notion.
things
Button. Banner.
reading
Landmark.
back to
Button.
me,
Banner. Landmark. My brave outlet.
and
A space to reflect.
I'm going to get
Outgoing
into
meta.
this here.
Highway receding into the distance. Change is good. Button.
So I put an icon highway receding into the distance. The AI picked that up for me. That was kind of cool. And it shows that because um, it picked up based on my writing. I love Notion because it has a lot of built-in AI. And I'm definitely on Notion Plus because of its uploading server space and whatnot. Um, so highway receding into the distance. It's like you're driving, if you think about it, or like you're sort of riding in a car.
A space to
Um,
reflect. Growing up. Outputting insights.
and
Add
so
cover. Highway receding into the distance. Change is good. Date. Empty. Status.
change
Empty.
is good. And I wrote that at the beginning title because what we need to think about in our process, maybe we built a lot of habits and patterns around our process, but that change um, sometimes comes at a necessary cost. And that is because of over a long period of time, we realize what we like, what we don't like, what we love, and what we hate about whatever it is we find ourselves doing in creation. So, for some of you, this might be video creation every day. For me, it's been podcasting most every day. It's been a really hard habit to get rid of as there's several changes coming in, and I really have entered a period where I've wanted to detach from relying on podcasting to feel like I'm creating. Um, but then all the things that you miss from some of these changes
Growing out loud.
come up.
Outputting insights. Add cover. Going meta.
So if
Add
you're
cover. Highway receding. Going meta.
really, it kind of depends on your epistemology and your beliefs, but if you love going meta, that's a major thing because you like having a space to do that. Some of you might do this by posting on Facebook. This might be something that seems very underrated, but some of you might have these really thoughtful, and that's why I still use Facebook. I still find it valuable because I love reading your thoughts. But some of you might be posting on Facebook. I love reading and interacting and engaging with you and your thoughts in that way. But even you wonder, like, should I be posting my thoughts on Facebook every day? Because in a certain sense, going this meta and being this personal, whether it's posting on Facebook or having a podcast or a TikTok, as I definitely have integrated, it gets very personal and it gets very, um, you start to realize the more and more personal people in your life could see it and could watch. And that's fine if you actually have a love for going meta, getting personal. Um,
A space to reflect. A space. Output. Going meta. Outputting insights.
Outputting insights goes along with this here because we're outputting our epiphanies, we're outputting our ideas, we're outputting our life lessons and experiences when we post, when we podcast, when we film, when we write, when we blog, all the things. Even when we, all these come down to are just communications. And so, even in a level, communication happens in all these ways. And then even in phone calls and conversations. And a lot of the phone calls and conversations will come to a place of you could even be talking to family or friends or people in your life that you've grown up with that you kind of, when you're outputting insights and going into communication, what you recognize is that these people are staying behind and kind of going about their business behind you and you're moving forward. And you find it difficult if you take it too seriously and if you overthink it and if you don't laugh once in a while. And you can even have a relationship and watch everybody behind you, as you've kind of stepped ahead. But then what you have to do is, you have your cup of coffee, cheers, you know, you have your tea to relax. I love my coffee, I love my tea. Um, it might be something else you're drinking depending on it. It might be a bowl of popcorn. I love my popcorn. Who doesn't love that? But it's like if you treat your life and your relationships like a movie sometimes, then it really is. If you treat it like you're enjoying the sort of humor that comes along with creating and you're painting, and you find it funny that maybe the lines are a little splurred or whatever, then you can find the humor in it and just sit back and have your drink or your snack, or even your meal. And you could be in person, you could be over the phone, you could be on a video call or whatever it is. And you could just kind of be like, when you come across disagreements, your insights you can kind of say, and they could be like jokes. And you can, do this to where you're like not taking yourself so seriously and you're not crippled by encounters with anyone because you are finding who you are and you're owning up to that even with people who don't resonate. And because in life we have to like resonate with everybody. But if you're creating in a deep process, um, if you're finding that some of that has to change because it's not practical to be creating for hours when your career, which I'll get into, here in this page in this template, but your career itself, relies on being practical and doesn't necessarily thrive. Your finances don't necessarily thrive on being this creative and this in love with your creation unless you get some practicality involvement, which I'm kind of in both worlds because I'm very technical but very creative. And so
A space to reflect. Outputting going meta. Outputting insights.
we'll get into the career
A
stuff,
space to
but
reflect.
that space to reflect could be we are missing a journal, we are missing ourselves, we are missing the mental introspection, and sometimes taking a break, having that space to reflect, or we're not even sharing it, can actually be pretty weird if we're used to being very creative and finding creative examples for our insights. Um, where you need to share these on social, you feel a need to share these. Maybe you do this in different formats and different platforms. You're not so loyal to one platform. And you are then going in and finding your peace of mind, literally your space, your piece of property within yourself. And the only way you've ever found that is maybe through posting on Facebook or having a podcast or filming on YouTube or videoing on TikTok or whatever it is you're doing, Instagramming. Um, but finding that space to reflect is so valuable and it's hard to do if you are used to creating in a certain way and then that changes.
Growing out loud. Add cover. Highway. Growing out loud.
Growing out loud is huge
My brave outlet. The connection linked. Growing out loud.
because growing out loud is sort of goes hand in hand with outputting insights. And so finding other integrated ways to do this is important.
The connection linked. Add cover. Highway. The connection linked.
The connection linked. This is sort of like what you're building in life. And I know for the past 4 years, I've seriously built something that is really taken off into different channels and is not just going to be a Spotify anchor product anymore. Um, and so it's really difficult to change when the thing you've built is sort of sitting online and it integrates so deeply into your soul, into who you are. And so
Growing out loud. The connection linked. Growing out
the
loud.
connection
The connection
linked
linked.
is not just like a web page that people click on, but to you that feels beautiful, or like a Spotify um, play button or whatever. To you that feels beautiful, or maybe it's a YouTube channel or a TikTok or your Facebook profile where it's like, this is who I am, or your Instagram or whatever it is. Maybe it's your Discord server. Um, Hell, maybe it's your phone number where you're like messaging. I've been in there too, or your Clubhouse, or your Threads, or whatever it is, right? Your X, whatever, Twitter. You will find that your connection length is actually who you actually are, and having a space within yourself is going to be your most reliable platform. And integrating this is going to have to be thought of in a more practically creative way where people can't just pull the rug out from under you. This is what we're experiencing in social media right now, in a very slow process. With we're loving the benefits of AI, but we find it difficult when all of these changes, we're getting into more video, we're getting into more AI, all of these changes and investments um, of our time are being pulled out from under us when platforms realize that they've invested in an old product that is no longer relevant. Anchor, unfortunately, is no longer relevant. Um, YouTube has to change. TikTok is going into different long form territories.
Exercising freedom of thought. My brave outlet.
Brave outlet is, it feels brave to have an outlet and to post what's on your mind and to philosophize and to really get deep on your growth and put out there whatever it is that you think and who you are, knowing that your family, your friends, it's not even so much that strangers can find you, it's that people from your deep past and from your very personal life can find you. And there is a certain amount of strong bravery that you find in that when you're posting on social and when you're interacting online.
Exercising freedom of thought.
Exercising freedom of thought um, allows you to be more creative in this space. And then you end up taking the way that you're learning from creating into your real life and integrating it. And you realize that what you're creating in your online life is real life.
A space I created to practice.
Practicing, the space I created to practice is um, more about practicing your skills. Like if you're practicing your writing skills or your speaking skills or your filming skills or your photography skills, um, you're practicing. Maybe it's your phone call skills or your communication skills with other people.
Ad cover. Highway
And
receding into the distance. Things I have not considered.
that is where it's very much about the practicalities of, are these skills going to be skills that you can take with you? Are they transferable? So, things I have not considered, we'll get into this.
Will this practical income? Will this link to my career in some way?
Will this link to career in some way?
Things I have not
Um,
considered.
I think
Ad
this
cover.
is
Highway
where
receding into
I
the
get
things I have not.
very impressed with people who ask about jobs and network online that I've seen. For me, I actually was able to take the transferable skills I have and work with Google. That was really cool. Make some money, which we all love to learn about making money. The work comes in when the work comes in, and spending so much time on your creative process is, for the most part, even people who are really well off will know that most of the work that you're doing is like you're not making money every single second. And so but you want to find that you can do this for a living and that you can do what you love for a living and that you can do it. But the practicality, I think, gets lost in the art sometimes.
Things I have not
And
considered.
you have to like really go in deep on what it is that you're sort of giving into the world so that you realize, like, how am I helping others by creating and posting and doing this and communicating and working and all the things. And a lot of us who are art based people, we might have a lot of adversities in our lives because we've put art above everything. And maybe our disability allows us to do that. It's an adversity that's very opportunistic. And you see a lot of people very resentful and envious of that, even though they don't understand how much we struggle on a regular basis to live life, because we're out there putting our art above everything, and we can really. And it's really because we can and we have that advantage to do that with services and programs and resources, where a lot of people um, don't even have the opportunity to get in touch with themselves because they're working. Um, I do think there's a point where you're choosing not to get in touch with yourself and you're kind of victimizing your life. That's a whole nother topic, but um, I've been on the other side where I've had work, I've had school. Um, it wasn't that long ago I was working and doing things um, in an office, in a factory, whatever. Um, and I chose to live a much harder life too because it was better for mental health to put the art first. Um, and I own up to that. But to kind of understand the creative point of view, we have to be in touch with that better.
Will this link to my career in some way? Relevant to life in the present. Now, practical income.
And of course, that goes into practical income. And like I said, working with tech will give you the creative outlet and also give you practical income. And I'm speaking from experience with Google, web testing, market research, tech insurance.
Relevant to life in the present. Nowness. Add cover. Highway receding into the
And
distance.
now the last one, as the highway recedes into the distance, we go to relevant to life in the present.
Add cover. Highway. Practical income. Relevant to life in the present. Nowness.
Nowness, relevant to life in the present with the nowness. And this is pretty important because what we're going into is the here and now. And, you know, you'll find that your creativity is very much relevant into your nowness, into your here and now. It really is. Um, and it's hard for others around you to maybe understand. Maybe they even do the same thing with their own art, but it happens to be that the advantage that they have is that their art is a little more relevant seeming in the physical than yours is. You might be very much a painter and you're painting and you're finding peace with it, and you're finding that's where you get your introspection, that's where you might pray, that's where you get your answers to life is through painting. And it's almost like the universe is talking to you through this painting. I get that with podcasting a lot, and I'm starting to get that through video now the more I keep doing things. And somebody else might get that same thing where the universe is talking to them through cooking. Um, and you're like, well, God, I wish I got that same vibe. Um, I do if I cook certain things now. If I cook certain things um, that are metaphorical to my experiences, like pots of soup or salads or um, chicken is a good one because it like reflects. It's like you kind of get a lot out of your system when you're doing things. I get it through cleaning a lot as well. Um, and manifesting your art desires into the physical is probably the hardest work that you have to do. But this is the most personal I've gotten over video and probably over podcasts and everything I'm doing in a very long time. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this has gotten you to think about your own implications in reality, because this is what I'm really considering. And I've been talking again to more podcasting people in my network and people that I've seeked out and everything. And they've been very receptive to hearing what I have to say, reading what I have to say. But it's uh, it's kind of to the point where I am wondering, because I'm doing a ton of software testing of podcasting at this point, and I am wondering, am I spending more time on software testing than I am creating? So I thought I would give this to you just as a way of saying thank you for watching me go on about the software testing and update you constantly over software testing. And thank God for Notion as well, because I'm starting to find my peace of mind and my outlet in Notion now for this creative process. And um, whatever kind of gives you the freedom to create your structure, to create your canvas. So I'm also considering a Notion site where I can put this up, this kind of post up, and you can kind of like be informed, but I would put that out. Um, there would have to be some kind of RSS or some kind of following somewhere. Um, I would just probably post it every which way. It would depend, but even just putting it out there and going through these, maybe this is a way of connecting over video with you over a different way. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope it makes some sense in your own life and in your everyday nowness of life. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, take care of your life, take care of each other.